I'm Judy McKimm, the Dean of Medical Education and Professor of Medical Education in the College of Medicine. I'd like to tell you about one of my books called Clinical Teaching Made Easy. Clinical Teaching Made Easy was my second book, and it has an interesting story behind its development. It was not originally conceived as a book, but as a series of e-learning modules in faculty development for clinical teachers on the London Deanery website. The deaneries are the bodies that oversee and provide training for doctors and dentists in training and their supervisors and teachers. This series was aimed primarily at all doctors who teach or supervise to provide some basic knowledge and theory in medical education, plus some practical hints and tips, primarily to improve the standard of teaching in London. The e-learning modules were originally written in 2002 and were revised with new ones added between 2007 and 2009. This was led by Tim Swanwick, who's Dean of Professional Development at the Deanery, and I. Once we developed the e-learning modules, Tim and I were approached by the British Journal of Hospital Medicine to rewrite the e-learning modules into a monthly series of articles under the banner Clinical Teaching Made Easy. The British Journal of Hospital Medicine is one of the journals under the Mark Allen Publishers imprint, which also includes key books. Between us, and after conversations with the publishers, we thought that the series would form the basis of a short introductory text on clinical teaching. At the same time as we were writing this book, Tim was editing a new theoretical text, Understanding Medical Education, and we saw Clinical Teaching Made Easy as a sort of companion to this larger text, but obviously with a different publisher. Key Books thought this was a great idea. And so, over about 16 months, I worked with all the authors of the original e-learning modules to turn the modules into articles, but with a view that these would also be chapters in the book. We commissioned, and I wrote, a few additional articles and chapters so that all the areas we thought were important to medical education were covered. And later, I recrafted the chapters into new e-learning modules for the Deanery, so the circle was complete. What this illustrates is having a vision for a book and thinking strategically about how that will work in practice is really important. You always have to convince a publisher and do your homework about the competition and where your book will fit in the market. For me, because I mainly write edited books where I will perhaps contribute a number of chapters myself, collaboration and networking is really important. First, to find the right authors who will write what you want them to write, and also to provide good support as an editor. Communicating with your co-writers and your publisher is vital. As an author of an edited book, you want to make the book coherent and read as if it is written as far as possible by a team who is on message. Meeting deadlines is really important, so time management and project management is vital, especially again in an edited book where you are reliant on others. I have had 2 occasions where at the very last minute I have had to write a chapter to a tight deadline as the original author either failed to deliver or wrote something that wasn't what we wanted. This can be quite a challenge, especially when it isn't your subject. We're really pleased that Clinical Teaching Made Easy recently won a BMA, British Medical Association, highly commended prize in the Book of the Year Awards, and is just about to be turned into an e-book, which seems to be the way the printed world is turning with Kindles and iPads, etc., all coming out. This means that as authors we'll need to start thinking a little bit differently about how we write for different media. But there will always be a place for the well-crafted printed book, and it is such a joy to hold a book in your hand.